good time to scan the body, locate any tension or stress that's been niggling at you for the week. Tell it to take a break. You can come back after Shabbat is over. You don't need it today. Take a good, deep, grounding breath in and out. Blow out whatever stress hovering in the corner. As you breathe, create space. Feel that spaciousness. That's empty with possibilities, just what can be filled on Shabbat, when all the rest of the garbage takes that break, takes a rest. And under your mask, smile. Really big. A silly little grin. Don't worry, nobody can see it, right? But feel what that does from the outside in. Whew. Yada bim bada bum, yada bim bada bum, yada bim bum bim bum bim bum, yada bim, yada bum, yada bim, yada bum, yada bim bum bim bum bim bum. I chitty 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 bim bum bum, I chitty 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 bim bum bum, I chitty 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 bim bum bum, I chitty 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 bum. One more time, yada bim, yada bum, yada bim, yada bum, yada bim bum again, yada bim, yada bum, yada bim, yada bum, yada bim bum. Smile, yada bim bum bum, I chitty 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 bim bum bum, I chitty 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 bim bum bum, I chitty 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 bum. One more time, yada bim, yada bim, yada bim bum bim bum, yada bim, yada bim, yada bim bum bim bum. I chitty 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 bim bum bum, I chitty 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 bim bum bum, I chitty 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 bim bum bum, I chitty 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 bum. Yada bim, yada bim, yada bim bum bim bum, yada bim, yada bim, yada bim bum bim bum. Oh, hopefully that gives a smile on the inside and out. Peter, would you grab a siddur, turn to page 3, come on up here and read either the top or the bottom reading, whichever one is speaking to you, and help us light the candles. We honor Peter Retzlaff, who is a board member and chair of Kadima. And thank you for being here tonight, but also what you and Alyssa, how much you add to the life of this community.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Amen. Want to bring in some light? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Good Shabbos. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Page 5 for Kiddush, adding a little sweetness to the day, sanctifying the day with more sweetness. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Give me an amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. L'chaim. Oh, this is so complicated. Oh, but worth it. Okay, I am quite sure that there are people in this room that don't know everybody. So please turn to somebody that you don't know, or even that you've just recently met, and remind them of your name, wish them Shabbat Shalom, and make a new friend. Eric, have you met Mike? I don't think you have. So, it's good to see you. Hi, oh gosh, and remind me, Lori, of course. Meet Eric. Oh, look, and it's Ty and Rio, and hi, Leslie, Sarah, hi, Shabbat Shalom, come on in. Remind me of your Shalom, Shalom. Remind me of your name. Oh my goodness, Shabbat Shalom and welcome, Bruchim Habayim, Bruch haba. Oh, wonderful. Great. Are you going to be joining the class? You guys going to be in the class? Okay, because there's other people who are maybe, and I want you to meet them. Okay. Anyway. All right. So somebody's met at least one new person, yes? Good. Excellent. Excellent. So that we've greeted each other, we can greet our better angels. Shalom Aleichem, page 24. We also greet our extra soul that we're taught descends as the sun goes down on Friday night. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzetchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Put your finger in page 44 and turn to page 13 for as much joy as we can pack into Kabbalat Shabbat. Yismechu. We're in the second paragraph on the bottom, that first line. Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz. Again, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Shamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umelo. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umelo. 44. Yismechu b'malachutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat bekorei, oneg Shabbat. Again, Yismechu b'malachutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat bekorei, oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei, Mekadeshei Shvi Shabbat, Kulam Yisbehu, Ve'yitangu metuvecha Shabbat. Yismechu b'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat bekorei, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat bekorei, oneg Shabbat. Ve'hashvi'i ratzita bo v'kiddushto Shabbat. Chemdad yamim, tokarat Shabbat. Yismechu b'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat bekorei, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat bekorei, oneg Shabbat. Zecher l'maseh b'reishit Shabbat. Zecher l'maseh b'reishit Shabbat. Yismechu b'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat bekorei, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat. Bekorei, oneg Shabbat. Page 22. Mizmor Shir. song, a new song for Shabbat. Can we pull something out? Pull something out from here, send it up. Something good. Something good to praise. It is good to sing a song. Let us sing a song for Shabbat. It's good. It is good to sing a song. Let us sing a song for Shabbat. It is good to sing your praise, singing praise to the Holy One. It is good to sing your praise, singing praise to the Holy One. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, uzamer l'shivcha ha'elyon, להגיד בבוקר הסתיך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור. Sing with me, it is good. It is good to sing a song for Shabbat. Let us sing a song for Shabbat. Yes, it is. It's good to sing a song. Let us sing a song for Shabbat. Greet the beloved. Page 20, L'Chadodi. First, second, fifth, and ninth stanzas. L'Chadodi likrat kala, enei Shabbat nekabela. L'Chadodi likrat kala, enei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor vel dibor echad hishmi'anu el remain standing for the Barchu. Where is that? Page 28. We're taught that by the time we get to this point in the service, we're warmed up. Here too. Page 30. Gratitude for the time and tides, and the moon and the sun and the stars, and the way that it keeps time in our lives. מסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. מבנהו ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, מבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם. Baruch atah Adonai, Mari Aravi. With a great love you've loved us into eternity. and from eternity. And with those great cosmic hugs, you give us Torah. Ahavat Olam, page 32. Ahavat Olam, Beit Israel, Amcha ahavta. Torah, mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shokveinu uv'kumeinu, nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratcha, u'b'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed. Ki heim chayenu ve'orech yameinu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negeh yomam v'layla, yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. 34. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת. Let's read together in the English on page 37, an interpretive translation. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you're tired or you're rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them out the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. Emet, emet ve'emunah, all this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us, that you alone are our God, and we are Israel, your people. And they accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together on the shores of the sea. in freedom and redemption, lifting their voices joyously as we do now on page 40. Mi chamocha, who is like you? They danced at the shore of the sea, so I gotta stand. You wanna dance? You can stand too. Not mandatory, but if it moves you, go for it. Elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei feleh, nora tehilot osei feleh. Malchutecha ahuvanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam, ze Elianu ve'ameru, ze Elianu ve'ameru. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Nanai, yadanai, nanai, 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 yadanai, nanai, 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 yadanai, nanai, 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 nanai. Kifad Adonai et Yaakov yalo meyad chazak mimenu, Baruch ata Adonai Gal Yisrael. 42. Ashkivenu, tuck us in, make us feel safe. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and rise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us that shelter of your peace. Guide us. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and our coming to life and to peace evermore. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Shmor tzitenu uvoinu lechaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Baruch atah Adonai aporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. El Yerushalayim. Turn to page 46 and rise for the Amidah. It's our private audience with our Creator, the most intimate of silences, which we will share after the first three brachot together. And after we ask that the words might flow. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei hakol, vezocher chastei avot ve'imahot, umevii gula livnei bneihem, leman shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshiach u'magen, baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayei metim atah rav lehoshia. Motshiv haruach umorid hagashem, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechayei metim berachamim rabim, tzomech noflim verofech olim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar michamocha val givurot umido melach melech memit umechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hametim. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kdoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah baruch ata Adonai ha'el hakadosh. We pray the rest of the Amidah privately between pages 54 and 60 for the text of our hearts, and be seated when you feel like you've said what you need to say. מודים אנחנו לך שאתה אדוני אלוהינו והיד. 2, the bottom. Oh, say shalom bimroma. Oh, yes, shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ve'imru. Amen. Let's do that together. Oh, say shalom bimroma. Oh, yeah, say shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ve'imru. Oh, say shalom bimroma. Oh, yes, shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ve'imru. Amen. Whenever we gather our collective energy to make sure to pray for those in our hearts and our communities who need healing. Healing of body, healing of spirit, of psyche, of self, of relationship. So I invite us to turn to page 253 for the Mishaberach L'Cholim. And it's our custom that we pause in between the stanzas and we call the names of those people we're holding in our hearts out loud. Let them reverberate through the room and out. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. This week we're especially holding in our hearts Millie Rottenberg, Howard Simon, Gloria Berkowitz, Gittel Bat Chana, Bernice Portney, Florence Wellen, Beryl Ben Sima Vishmuel Leib, Devorah Bat Yocheved, Sholem Avram Ben Golda Yeshayahu, Steve Gellis, Myrtle Cupid, Michael Rosenblum, Brian Clark, Harav Miriam Yael Bat Sarah Yitzchak, Maxwell Zwain, Menachem Mendel Ben Yehudit V'Michael, Tovia Ben Bela, Dwayne Charleston, Richard Foran, Sandra Mayers Chaikin, Zipporah Yocheved Bat Avraham Eliezer V'Yehudit, Dora Montserrat, Jeff Galvani, Alan Mentha, and to these names we add May they know healing, wholeness, soon, uneventfully, quickly. Shabbat Shalom. It's so nice to welcome people, sometimes for the first, sometimes almost the first. People I don't see in lots of other contexts, but here, I love that. I love that. It really feels like community. So, oops. Oh, I'm making a big mess. Excuse me. So some of you might know that we have a real bumper crop of B'nai Mitzvah kids this year. It's an embarrassment of riches. I'm sorry, I'm going to move this back so I get some space, more space, but I'm going to lower my mask. I've been boosted. I've been shot so many times, it's not funny. And if you want me to move further back, just say so. I need air. Yes, by the time this fiscal year is over, we will likely have had about 21 children in B'nai Mitzvah tutoring with as many as 12 to 15 ceremonies. It's going to be a busy year. And the first time I sit down with B'nai Mitzvah children to study their Parsha, remember these kids are 12 years old, I tell them, okay, you're going to read it once through in English, then I want you to go get a snack. And I want you to go outside, I want you to shoot some basketballs, and then I want you to come back inside, I want you to read it again. And then I want you to go and have another snack, and then I want you to go play a video game, and then I want you to come back and I want you to read it again. And I want you to take a pencil, and I want you to circle those things that jump out at you that are curious or strange or just make you go, huh? And even in the English translations, I'm reverberating, haven't I? Like, maybe if I'm here, that's a little bit better, right? Yes? Like further away from there, okay. Even in the English translation, a careful reading, the text talks to itself. And a close reader can hear the conversation that's going on in Torah. And reading last week's Parsha with this week's Parsha, you can hear one of those conversations going on in the text itself. If you recall, last week was the very beginning of the Torah, Breshit, in which God says to Adam in Gan Eden, in the Garden of Eden, one of those famous biblical lines, be fruitful and multiply. Pru or vu, to be exact. Pru is a verb made from the word fruit, and orvu comes from the word many or great or a lot. So pru or vu means be like a fruit and make a lot. But the internal textual conversation happens when the careful reader of the text notices that this phrase, pru or vu, appears twice in chapter 1 and then 3 times again later on in chapter 8 and chapter 9. This week, in the Parsha of Noah and the Ark. And it happens after Noah exits the Ark after the flood. And it's all in the exact same linguistic formulation, pru or vu. Now, when you're at this Torah study thing for a little while, you learn that nothing in the Torah gets repeated willy-nilly. If something gets repeated, it's our invitation, it's a requirement almost, to ask why. Because it's got to mean something. And it's usually not what it first appears to mean on first glance. So I'd like to look at the context and how the phrase appears each time so that hopefully we can peel back a little bit of understanding of what it is that the text is telling us. So, first time, chapter 1 in Torah, it happens on the 5th day. God first tells the animals. People haven't appeared yet. Pru or vu, be fruitful and multiply. Fill the waters in the seas, let the birds increase on the earth. Okay, fair enough. Animals are the only ones here on the earth. They have the run of the place. They're free to do their own animal thing. But then we get it the next day, on the sixth day, and God says to Adam, the first human being, where it says, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and master it, and rule the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, and all of the living things that creep on the earth. This translation I gave you says, master it and rule. The words in Hebrew also suggest subdue the earth, or conquer, or even occupy. And this is where we're left in the first parsha of Genesis. Enter this week the parsha of Noach, the generation of Noach. We're told in Torah, the world, humanity, is so corrupt that God feels the need for a complete and utter do-over. Humanity turns out to have a glitch in our software that God needs to work out with a complete reformatting with the flood. And it's here, after the flood, that we get the formulation, pru or vu, be fruitful and multiply, 3 more times after the flood. The first time, again, telling the animals, as they finally get to leave the ark, go, spread out, be fruitful, and multiply. But this is where it gets interesting. Then God says to Noach, as he exits the ark, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth. But here it adds, and the fear and dread of you shall be upon all. Everything with which the earth is astir. No longer is it about mastering or even subduing the earth. Now it's about fear and dread of humanity, abject terror. The fifth and last time sort of feels like marching orders in a charge that refers back to Adam. Sorry, not used to doing all this singing and then all this talking. Now, before we dig into this any deeper, I want to eliminate the thought that this is about procreation. I know that we're accustomed to hearing this phrase in the reproductive sense, and in fact, the rabbis actually derive the very first mitzvah in the Torah of bringing children into this world from this phrase, but I really don't think that that's what's going on here, mainly because most people, and certainly animals, don't need to be reminded to procreate. To understand why it's here 5 times, I think we need to look at humanity before and look at humanity after. Humanity before, in its original, if you will, most innocent state in Genesis, in Bereshit, in Gan Eden, in the Garden of Eden, and humanity after the flood, which comes on the heels of so much degradation and corruption. So, the question really is, what changed between the generation of Adam and the generation of Noach? What can we learn from the transition between God's charge to humanity to subdue and master the earth, to being feared and dreaded by everything that is on the earth? And most importantly, I think, for the most interesting conversation that we can have, and that I hope we have, what is it that we can glean about how humanity needs to use its power in a more sacred way? The Midrash gives us a window into this. In describing the corruption of Noach's generation, it says, they didn't plant any vineyards. But what that really means is that they didn't plant and work with the earth. They only took from the earth without replenishing. They didn't work in cooperation with the earth. They just stripped it of everything that it had. Humanity messed up. They abused their power. We didn't understand that having dominion doesn't mean that we do exactly what we want. And it got so bad that all of humanity and the earth needed a total do-over. So this is what I want to throw out to all of us, actually, literally, to take a few minutes to talk among ourselves. What's the difference between the two? What's implied in subdue, conquer, and even occupy? And what's implied in fear and dread? How are they different ways of ruling? What could we learn from how we live, lead, rule, or even treat the natural world? So that's the question. We've got subdue, conquer, and occupy, and we've got fear and dread in how the world, we're relating to the natural world, and the natural world is relating to us. So, let's split up the room in half. So, really, let's talk amongst ourselves and compare and contrast those two, and let's see what you come up with about lessons that we can glean about what it means to live, to lead, or to be in relation, lead in general, or even to be in relationship with the natural world. So, yes, turn around, maybe even go back so that you can chat in here. And we'll come back in 5 minutes, and we'll share ideas. I think I need some water. Yeah, do you need some? just take a few minutes and sort of gather our thoughts, and love to hear what it is that you guys come up with. Share some ideas amongst each other. Okay, does anybody want to stand and offer a few ideas that might have come out from your group? We can do a little cross-fertilization. Oh, we're among friends. Judy? Be good stewards. It's a jungle out there. It's a jungle out there. Subdue it. Just right. Okay. Yeah. Of biblical proportions. Right, we should get the memo. Anything that you came out of your group you'd like to share? So a leadership that's inspiring fear as opposed to inspiring something else. Yeah. No, I think that's something. It's something worthwhile to contemplate. It's like, what's the role of that? Interesting. Thank you. That's great. If you're reading the newspapers, if you read newspapers anymore? The news, whatever. The headlines this week: 22 different species of animals, birds, and sea creatures have been declared extinct. This feels like the tip of the proverbial melting iceberg on a planet overrun by pollutants, carbon dioxide, exhaust, and overuse. But embedded in our Torah is an eternal cycle of use, rest, and renewal. Its very roots of use, rest, and renewal are in the very first chapters of Torah, starting with the 6 days of creativity and activity, followed by 1 day of being at home simply with what is, to renew us. To wit, the Torah gives the land of Israel a Shemitah year every 7 years, in which farmland owned by Jews there in Israel also gets a Sabbath. That means nothing is planted in the earth, and the earth during that year. The earth simply gets a break. In fact, this year, 5782, is a Shemitah year, sabbatical year. Shemitah literally means renunciation. we renounce the right to work the land and acknowledge its right to a break, to let it lie fallow and let it renew. And those Israelis who observe the Shemitah will actually literally grow hydroponic produce, food grown in gravel or planted before the new year starts. They will go out of their way to buy foreign or Arab raised produce in order to respect the right of the land to have its break. I mean, other people do that in other ways by rotating crops, but the concept of giving the land a rest is embedded in this cycle. Creation's natural state is one of use and renewal. And in addition to the renewing the cycles of the earth, the miraculous planet in which we live knows how to renew itself. It knows how to renew us when we respect nature's and Torah's balance. Torah is very specific about what trees can be cut down even in war, knowing that in addition to feeding us, the trees inhale carbon dioxide and exhale air for us to breathe, and we do the same for the trees. And when we respect one another's needs for use and rest and renewal, the earth is in balance. Not unlike the flow of God's blessings, which are initiated and received in a cyclical manner, the climate and our water cycle also demands rest and renewal. And out of balance and disrespected, the rains that nourish our farms and fill our reservoirs also overwhelm our infrastructure, roads, and basements. Tides wash away homes, people, communities. Ultimately, a close reading of this parsha makes it clear that the first covenant that God makes in Torah is not with humanity. It's with all living things. And humanity is here to do right by our planet. 7 times in Torah, in Parshat Noah, it tells us that the problem with humanity before the flood was not that they were violent, but that their violence was ruining the land. And as the Torah teaches both here and in reference to the Shemitah, the sabbatical year, that God cares for humanity and the land. But if we make God choose, then God is going to choose the land over humanity. When we realize this as a planet, then we will understand how to properly and in a sacred manner master the earth. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
So I'm going to invite us to rise for Aleinu. Just repeat after me. V'hashevota el levavecha ki Adonai hu ha-Elohim. A little faster. V'hashevota el levavecha ki Adonai hu ha-Elohim. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai emelech al kol ha'aretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo good. I think I've got an expiration date on my voice of about 25 seconds. Can you hear it? It's like gone. Oh my goodness. Let us now praise the sovereign of the universe and proclaim the greatness of the Creator who spread out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else. Therefore we bow in awe and thanksgiving before the one who is sovereign over all, the holy and blessed one. Turn to 194 for the Mourner's Kaddish, in which we hold in sacred memory and honor those who gave us life, those who loved us, those who walked with us, and who taught us. This week, as a community, we are observing the yahrzeit of Alan Cooper. Actually, she's got her own date. Usually it's a long list, but it's just Alan. So I want to invite the Cooper family to rise and in honor of Alan. It's 2 years or 3 years? 2 years. If there's anyone else who is observing a yahrzeit or is in their year of mourning, or if it is your custom to rise, I invite you to do so in solidarity with the Cooper family. And maybe want to say a few words about her? You want to feel like talking about her? Oh, you got to speak up louder. You got a mask on the face. A little better. You honor her. Page 294. Yitgadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah. Ve'alma divrach yirtzeh ve'amlich malchuteh. V'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei b'chol Beit Yisrael. La'gala u'vizman kariv ve'imru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach me'olam u'lamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaser. V'yithadah, v'yitaleh, v'yithalal, shmei b'kudesha, bruchu. Le'elam, min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiram be'ama v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlam ha'rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'nomar, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. It's your practice. Yeah. Are you saying Kaddish for somebody? You want to say who you're saying Kaddish for? Can you say your name out loud? I'm sorry? How many years? It's very neat. I'm really glad to hear that. I hope you're feeling good. Who are you saying? May their memories be only for blessings. soon. Of course, we're following all CDC and Jersey City schools, health protocols for health and safety of our children. Enrollment is continuing. On November the 14th, it's not quite, maybe, there's a bar bat mitzvah meeting for parents in grades 5th, 6th, and 7th. Yeah, you're not quite there yet, are you? What grade are you? You are 5th? That means you're getting your date soon. I don't know. Sounds like maybe this meeting's for you. At least you're wrong. Yes, so this meeting then for Sarah and Leslie, I will be explaining the Temple Beth-El Mitzvah program while offering parents a chance to ask questions and meet one another, discuss the process and the activities both available and required of our students and ways that parents can meaningfully participate as well. Parents are required to attend this meeting at least once in the 24 months before their children begin mitzvah tutoring, so if not this year, then definitely next year. And tutoring generally begins about 6 months before the ceremony. The meeting's on Zoom, so it's all on the website and in the weekend. As you may have heard, the social hall downstairs suffered an influx of water from Hurricane Henry and Ida that accelerated a minor problem with mold into a major problem with mold and has made the social hall unusable. Happy to report that we are narrowing down on remediating organizations that are going to come in and clean us up. But what it has done is it has added time and expense to the renovation of our lower level, and is only likely partially covered by insurance and other funding, which the board is actively seeking. If you have funding ideas, or you can make a donation to help us pay for the restoration, please step up now, so that we can celebrate in our newly renovated and cleaned up social hall soon. Jersey City Together is celebrating its 5th anniversary with a hybrid gathering of its member congregations on October 16th from 4 to 6 in the courtyard of St. Aidan's Church. Introduction to Judaism is beginning again on Wednesday, November 3rd. It is moved a week. It was to be on October 27th, but we're moving it to November 3rd. I am delighted to welcome and all to the class. Some here are already registered, others with me because I have nothing left. No del Eloheinu, no del Adonenu, no del Malkeinu. No del Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu. Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu. Tahu Moshienu, Yam pam 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 pararara, Yam pam pam da yararara, Yam bararam pam pam pam, yararam pam, yararai rai 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 rai. Ta-da! Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat Shalom. And thank you to Alyssa and to Peter for bringing the challah. It is Jewish soul food. Oh my goodness, this is so annoying. It got completely wrapped around.